Hey guys, Greg Denning here. It's Memorial Day in the United States, and yesterday I got to go to the cemetery in a little mountain town. Beautiful view of the mountains where my sister's husband is buried, and today we are at the cemetery where my brother-in-law or my father-in-law is buried. And with the combination of Memorial Day and visiting these two graves and thinking about their lives and the wonderful people they were and the good lives they lived, and then myself being crazy sick last week, where the doctors were really concerned and ready to admit me to the hospital for a kidney infection, man, it's just had me thinking about life. And you have those moments where you get to contemplate, how important life is, how fragile it is, and how important it is to build relationships and to try to be yourself. So I just want to share a quick message and say, how important it is to make every day count and really work on yourself, work on your relationships, work on the things that matter to you, and ask yourself, do this today. This would be so good for you today to just really just get serious about what you want to do with yourself and what you want to work on and what matters the most. A lot of people, I meet people all the time, and they after a conversation they tell me they're spending their lives doing things that really aren't that important, and they feel like they're just kind of wasting their lives away. And so have you guys ever heard of the top 5 regrets of the dying? It's where this nurse worked with these patients that were terminally ill for 12 years. And she talked to every one of them, and they all she started to see these themes and patterns and the things they regretted. And they came up with the top 5 things that they almost all regretted. And a lot of them were they regretted that they'd spent time on things that didn't really matter to them. They'd kind of gone through the motions, and they'd kind of followed the scripts that other people had given them or society had given them. And at the end of their life, when they're looking back and have that kind of clarity, they're wishing they had done things differently. They'd been more true to themselves. They'd spent more time working on their relationships. That they had been more, more engaged in doing the things that made them feel alive. And so I want to ask you guys that same thing. What is it? What is your purpose, your mission, your passion, and your top priorities and values? What is it that matters so much to you that you got to be working on all the time? And obviously this is an ideal, right? It's this awesome ideal, but I'm an idealist, and I think most of the time we can be working on things that really matter to us instead of just living to pay the bills or doing the same thing again and again and again. I love to say this. You guys have heard me say this before. Most people don't have years and years of experience. They have the experience once, and then they just repeat it year after year after year. And that's a tragedy. Or just kind of go through life. You're just existing to pay the bills, or to check off the boxes, or whatever it is. And until we get crystal clear, you guys, on what matters to us so much, literally what are our highest priorities, and we write them down and then order them. And then here's what I love to teach people: live according to those priorities. Because if we were having a conversation, a lot of us could sit down and, oh yeah, this is most important to me. Usually it's God, family, and health is generally the list I get, the top 3 things, right? Taking care of my body, my family, and my relationship with God. And so I love to ask people, okay, does your life reflect that? So, let me ask you a cool question I love to ask people. If your life were a silent film, okay, no talking, if your life was a silent film, could viewers clearly identify the things that are most important to you through your actions? Whoa, right? That's a sobering question, and a great way to ask ourselves if we're really living according to our priorities. So just an awesome reminder for all of us on Memorial Day. Life's fragile. Build those relationships, Oh, here's the other thing I found out last week. I found out that a good friend of mine, his teenage son, their oldest son, is 13, and just got diagnosed with cancer. And man, so it was all in about a week and a half period. All this happened, and so I've just been really like, whoa, man, life is fragile, life is short, life is important. Like our relationships matter, what we do with our time matters, and the things that are just kind of getting in the way, the watching TV and video games and screen addictions and other addictions and just kind of wasting away our lives. It's just not worth it, you guys. It's not worth it. You want to live so that at the end of each day, you're like, hey, I lived today. Today was good. And I know we got to take care of the chores and the tasks, and we got to do the things we have to do. But, man, we can make each day count, or at least do something special that day so that counted. And that at the end of every day, we're like, yeah, okay, I did something that mattered. And it just adds up over time. So at any time, you're like, hey, my journey's over. I lived well. You can say you lived. And, man, I love that. It's so powerful. So, remember, awesome's always an option, my friends. Reach upward. Get out. Do great things every day. Love you guys. You're the best. Reach upward.